Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'm Diane Tavenner, and I founded Future.me. I also have a podcast with Michael Horn called Class Disrupted. I wrote a book called Prepared, What Kids Need for a Fulfilled Life. And that all came from spending 20 years as the founder and CEO of Summit Public Schools, which is a network of schools across the country. Most important for what we're going to talk about today, I'm a mom of two 22-year-old boys, and so this is very personal to me, what we're about to talk about. How many of you ever ask young people, what do you want to be when you grow up? How many of you remember getting that question? I don't know about you, but these are the answers I normally get when I listen to someone ask this question of a young person. Oftentimes you'll get like blank stares or shrugs. Sometimes kids actually run away from that question. And I always like to think what's going on in their mind when that is happening. And I think we have evidence that suggests that they're really anxious about their future. And they want to know, they don't know what they're going to do. And they actually don't even know how to figure out what they're going to do. And it causes them real anxiety when people ask them. So they just try to disengage from that conversation. Then there's a group of kids who answer pretty confidently. And you'll hear things like, I'm going to be a lawyer because people say I'm good at arguing, or I'm going to be a marine biologist because I like the ocean, or I'm going to be an engineer because I'm good at fixing things. And what's interesting about that is what happens to young people who say those things. They get a lot of affirmation. They get a lot of positive feedback, and people are like, oh, you must be so smart, and that's so great, and I'm so proud of you. And then they'll tell them how their generation's going to save the world and the planet, thank goodness, because we old people have screwed it up. What's interesting is you often turn to their teacher or their counselor, and what you hear from that person is, that student is not going to be a lawyer. They're a junior in high school, they have a 2.0 GPA, and they're not even showing up to school very often. And so those are the ones that I'm really interested. I'm interested in all of these students. Sometimes you'll find a student who really knows what they want to do, but it's pretty rare. And so at Future, based on my experience, what we're trying to do is help young people understand what they want to do earlier in relation to the life that they want to lead. So we want to help them figure out, how are you going to navigate from where you are to a life that is fulfilling, that is purposeful, that's meaningful, that includes a career and work that is purposeful for you? Because those are two of the 5 big core elements of a good life. We need purposeful work. We need enough financial resources in order to live the life we want to lead. We also want good relationships, a strong civic identity and community around us, and health to go about our daily life. So that's what creates a good, fulfilled life. And so how are we getting kids to that place? And while technology is not a panacea, it is certainly a tool that we can use to get to that place and to supercharge the adults who are in people's lives. And so Future is a life navigation platform. It's designed to help young people discover careers. At the same time, they're discovering who I am and what I care about and what the world has to offer. It's designed to help them explore them at deeper and deeper levels so they can start to figure out, where do those two things intersect with each other? Where do they come together? And it's designed to help them plan and visualize an actual pathway to that future, to that career, that is inclusive of what is the educational pathway or the training pathway that you will need to go beyond where you are in order to get to that career. Future gives them a whole set of activities that are grounded in their local context, their local school, their local community, as well as what we know writ large about what young people need in order to develop this sense of self and the knowledge of themselves. We bring that all together in a journey that is very much personalized and about you and who you are, and sticks with you throughout your middle, high school, potentially post-high school career as you launch into adulthood and to be successful. Let me tell you a little bit about where this comes from and why I think it's so important. So, 4 key things that are happening right now. One, there's a recent bit of research from the Charter Schools Growth Fund that looked at alumni outcomes post high school. These were all schools that were 100% college for all. So they prepared all of their students for 4-year college. They believed that was the way to go. And then they looked at those alumni outcomes. And what they found was over half of those students in their first post-college jobs were underemployed for the education they had received. So they're in a job that's actually not a foothold job to the career path that they want. And for those of you who know the research, you know that will linger for probably the next 10 years for those students. They won't be on a trajectory to the life that they had imagined. They've also probably picked up a lot of debt along the way. What the promising part of this research was, they found that young people who had engaged in 9 or more activities that were around career exploration and around career planning and preparation not only had a much better chance of being in a foothold career, but they were actually making more money than their peers who had graduated from college, thousands of dollars of more money in their first career job. So some promising opportunities there, but what they found was these activities weren't organized, they weren't consistent, and they weren't super clear. So this is one thing we're trying to solve. The second is there's a significant experience gap happening in our country right now, where employers want to hire people into first foothold careers or entry-level jobs with having 2 to 3 years experience. Of course, the challenge is no one wants to give young people the 2 to 3 years of experience in order to get into that. And so we have this conundrum. And so what does that mean? That means as educators, we have to figure out how to make opportunities for young people to have experiences while they're still in school, while they're in high school, while they're in whatever their post-secondary training is. It has to be filled with experience. So that's another trend that's happening. A third trend that's happening, and you see it around this room, is AI is coming and disrupting those entry-level roles. And so even the problem that we have is being compounded by that. And so what we're trying to do is create an opportunity for young people to deeply understand themselves. Who am I? What do I want? What is the life that I want? What does the world have to offer today, tomorrow, and as far into the future as we can see? And where do those 2 things come together? And so that is what we are building. I've chosen to not demo it for you today because we're literally building it real time in partnership with schools. And so it is a work in progress. However, if you go to our website, future.me, and you're interested, try it. And I personally will send you an email and share a login with you and invite you into the platform. I encourage you to do that. I hope you will do it because it's through feedback from students and educators that we're actually building the tool that is incredibly, I think, useful for people and will continue to grow and be more useful. So I really, really hope that you will literally get a license and try it yourself, and use our comment button or send me some personal feedback about what you like, don't like, and would like to see. And with that, I thank you so much for your time and hope to see you on Future.